The hippie movement was a satanic death cult constructed by the elites, and I'll reveal all in this video. The satanic hippie movement started being seeded into the minds of young impressionable people who were still discovering the world in the late 50s. By forms of media, music and celebrities such as the Beatles and the Doors, who were linked to the government.
Turn on, tune in, drop out. I mean drop out of high school, drop out of college.
The counterculture that was promoted was the polar opposite of the traditional American values. It substituted Christianity with Eastern and pagan religions like Kundalini, energies, chakras, astrology, and promoted drugs like LSD, cannabis and mushrooms, which fried their brains.
The boat rides on the lake. And I went over and Ray Lee told me, he says, man, you can't do anything with that.
A great example of this was Charles Manson and his followers, who lived on an old Western film set out in the middle of nowhere in a place called Chatsworth, a short drive just outside of LA. Charles Manson was an inspiring singer-songwriter who spent most of his life behind bars for petty crimes from an early childhood. His father was absent and his mother was a prostitute. His childhood was non-existent and he learned to survive on his own in the streets and in the prison system. After Charles Manson got out of prison in 1967, he found it easy to start a cult following, as he gave broken individuals a false sense of worth by manipulating them and telling them what they wanted to hear. His followers worshipped him and did as they were told to please their master. The illusion became even stronger as Charles Manson and his followers participated in the covert MKUltra project designed by the US government to develop and enhance brainwashing techniques. The government would experiment on brothel patrons by spiking them with LSD and recording the results through a mirrored glass, as well as treating mental patients at hospitals with high doses of psychedelics and shock therapy, constantly shocking them for days on end, all while in the background a war raged on in Vietnam.
You see people shouting that they can't set you free. No, it's that change they're seeing, and you let them.
I have a Vietnamese campaign ribbon, Vietnamese service ribbon, National Defense ribbon, and a Purple Heart.
My name is John Morrow, and here's a bunch of bullshit.
Skip Walsh, Sarasota, Florida, an Army Commendation Medal, and all my stuff.
The hippies were against the war in Vietnam, however, but they didn't know they were being used to discredit and garner animosity towards their viewpoint, as most of their beliefs were contrary to the rest of American people. This fueled hostility towards the hippies and their cause was overlooked.
A hippie, to me, is an individual in life who has lost, who has become my brother, a descent. They have descended against the structure of society.
By the mid-60s, Haight-Ashbury was becoming the center of the hippie counterculture, and in 1967, tens of thousands of American youths, sometimes referred to as flower children, made their way to Haight-Ashbury for what is now known as the Summer of Love. Most came in search of transcendence and to protest the war in Vietnam. However, this was very short-lived.
What's the point in going around dirty? Do these people bathe?
Are they dirty?
Yes, half of them smell so bad.
Achieving a higher level of enlightenment via drugs was a core belief of the hippie movement. But the abundance of drugs supplied by unknown sources resulted in overdosing and crime. By the end of 1967, Haight-Ashbury became full of drug addicts and homeless people.
In Haight-Ashbury, we have this. They have the syphilis, gonorrhea, and the clap. And it has to be stopped. Because if it isn't stopped now, it's just going to spread. And if it spreads, everyone here is going to catch it.
Due to unsanitary habits, dirty needles, and unprotected sex, AIDS and hepatitis spread among the community, which caused many to perish. The true colours of this movement became apparent, and the life became unsustainable. Time was ticking, and the run-up to the beginning of the end was becoming more evident. Many of the kids who came in search for free love returned home sick and penniless. In 1969 saw the event that would be the straw that broke the camel's back, to say the least. Charles Manson had ordered his followers to kill certain celebrities, in which the court described his motive to be helter-skelter, the start of a race war. Manson prophesied an apocalyptic war that would arise from racial tensions between black and white people, which he called helter-skelter. However, some say he did it as retaliation for being rejected by the music industry. He wrote songs for the Beach Boys but gained no recognition, thus targeting celebrities in the movie industry like director Roman Polanski and actress Sharon Tate. A third perspective is that the whole event was another psyop, completely staged and fabricated by the CIA to garner publicity for their secret agenda. After decades and millions spent on the now unclassified MKUltra project, the CIA revealed that they were unsuccessful in creating a Manchurian candidate who would be in a zombie-like state, programmed to kill, with no recollection afterwards. Yet Manson, who lived on an old movie set without a penny to his name, was able to convince his followers to kill on his behalf. After the killings had taken place, the public finally saw the hippie movement in its true light, parading as a loving movement, but instead being a movement of immoral, vindictive selfishness. The CIA succeeded in its mission to pull the plug on the movement that it had started, thus giving endless media spotlight and attention to the Manson trials. The psychological operations arm of the government successfully pulled the wool over the eyes of an entire generation, yes, convincing them with peer pressure and false promises in order to control. If the hippies truly believed in what they preached, why did they abandon it? Why did it come to an abrupt end? Was the movement intentionally deconstructed and aborted, or was it set up to fail? The movement slowly died down. People grew up, matured, and went back to work as if nothing ever happened. Despite this, the consequences of this time period were apparent and everlasting. People were left emotionally and physically scarred, from soldiers having severe PTSD, missing limbs, 48,000 dead soldiers and 2 million Vietnamese fatalities who died in the needless war, to the people who fell for the lie of free love and now have irreversible diseases that need constant treatment. Who were the winners in all of this? I'd say all the hippies, soldiers, and middle America, who were all victims to the powers that be, who continue to divide to this day.